Hello everyone, thanks for joining us for your latest weather update. Today across the UK, it's unseasonably mild and muggy for early November. Many of us are stepping outside to find it feeling more like late September than the start of winter, with a gentle warmth in the air that's quite unusual for this time of year. Central, southern, and Midlands regions are seeing temperatures up to 17 degrees, quite warm for this time of year. In fact, some towns are even breaking local records for November highs. And you might notice people making the most of the milder weather by spending extra time outdoors. Much of the country is under thick cloud, making for a gloomy, gray day. The sun is struggling to break through, so if you're hoping for bright skies, you may have to wait a bit longer. You might not need your winter coat, but keep an umbrella handy. The air feels damp, and there's a persistent sense of drizzle in the atmosphere, so it's wise to be prepared for a sudden shower. A band of rain is moving east across the south and central areas, clearing into the North Sea by late evening. This rain is bringing some heavier bursts at times, especially in the afternoon. So if you're out and about, you might want to plan your journeys accordingly. After the main rain, expect patchy showers and drizzle, classic changeable British weather. These showers will be hit and miss, so some places may stay dry, while others see a bit more rain. Further north, it's cooler and showery, with a northwesterly breeze bringing a more typical November chill. The wind is making it feel colder than the thermometer suggests, so a warm layer is a good idea if you're heading out. Scotland, Northern Ireland, and northwestern England will feel colder, with clouds dominating and sunshine in short supply. Occasional showers will drift through, and the damp, chilly air will be a reminder that winter isn't far away. The contrast between the mild, damp south and the cool, showery north is setting the stage for upcoming changes. This north-south split is something we'll be watching closely as we move through the week. In summary, a real mixed bag today. It's warm and damp in the south, cool and unsettled in the north, with rain as the main event for many. Whether you're enjoying the milder air or bracing against the chill, it's a day to keep an eye on the skies. Now, let's see what the next few days have in store across the UK. We'll take a closer look at how this unsettled pattern could develop, and whether any colder air is on the horizon. As today's rain moves on, showers will linger in the north and west, especially for Scotland and Northern Ireland. Most areas will stay cloudy and mild, with temperatures above early November averages. The end of the week looks unsettled but not extreme, with cloud cover keeping nights frost-free for now. Patchy fog may form in valleys and low-lying spots during early mornings. Looking ahead to next week, high pressure is expected to build between Iceland and Scandinavia, shifting our winds. We'll likely see a cooler, easterly wind develop, bringing chillier, grayer days. This doesn't mean a big freeze, but it will feel colder, with temperatures dropping closer to or just below average. Expect less sunshine and a persistent damp chill. Time to dig out scarves and hats. Watch for this shift around mid-month. November is shaping up to have two distinct halves, each with its own unique weather story to tell. As we move through the month, the contrast between the first and second half becomes more apparent, setting the stage for a fascinating transition in the UK's weather. The first half of November is expected to remain relatively mild, with gentle temperatures and the lingering feel of autumn. However, as we approach the midpoint of the month, uncertainty begins to creep in, and the weather story takes a turn. Weather models are currently divided. Some suggest a sharp cold snap is on the horizon, while others indicate that milder conditions could persist. This split in the forecasts is keeping meteorologists on their toes as they analyze new data each day. From around the 17th to the 24th, there's a good chance that high pressure will settle over the UK. This would bring drier, calmer weather, with clear skies at night and a noticeable drop in wind. With these clearer nights, we could see more widespread overnight frosts, painting the countryside with a sparkling layer of ice by morning. Dense morning fog is also likely, especially in low-lying areas, which could lead to tricky travel conditions and slower commutes as drivers navigate the mist. As we head towards the end of November, some models point to a cold northeasterly flow developing. This would raise the risk of wintry showers, sleet, or even snow, particularly for northern and eastern parts of the country, hinting at an early taste of winter. On the other hand, some forecasts, like the CFS, suggest that milder air from the south could dominate, keeping temperatures above average and extending the autumnal feel. The last 10 days of November are shaping up to be a period to watch closely. Will we see a mild, damp end to autumn, with rain and drizzle lingering on? Or will winter arrive early with a dramatic shift? There's a real possibility of the first snowfalls in some areas, transforming the landscape and signaling the start of the winter season. The atmosphere is delicately balanced and it could tip either way as new weather systems develop and move in. Forecasters are watching the evolving patterns closely, analyzing every update to see which scenario will play out as the month draws to a close. For now, all we can do is keep an eye on the skies and wait to see which half of November will have the final say. As December arrives, thoughts across the UK inevitably turn to the age-old question: will we wake up to a white Christmas this year? The image of snow-dusted rooftops, twinkling lights and children playing in the frosty air is a cherished part of the festive season for many. Early December could see high pressure building to the north, bringing colder, drier conditions, especially for Scotland and the northwest. These regions are often the first to feel the bite of winter, with crisp mornings and icy landscapes setting the seasonal scene. A northeasterly flow would bring a distinctly wintry feel, with sharp frosts overnight and the chance of snow, mainly on hills but possibly reaching lower ground in the north and east. Rural areas could wake to a sparkling white blanket, while towns might see just a dusting. However, despite these cold spells, overall temperatures may still average slightly above normal for the time of year. Cold, frosty days are likely to be balanced by milder, sunnier interludes, with some days feeling more like late autumn than deep winter. By mid-December, the classic battle between cold, dry continental air and milder, wetter Atlantic air continues to play out. This tug-of-war often decides whether the UK sees snow or rain as Christmas approaches. If the Atlantic influence wins, expect a return to wind and rain sweeping in from the west, but if the high-pressure block holds firm, the cold could persist, keeping hopes of a white Christmas alive, especially in the north. Seasonal models currently favor a milder, wetter run-up to Christmas, so widespread snow looks unlikely, for most. Rain and drizzle may be more common than snowflakes, especially in southern and western areas. Still, the British weather is famously unpredictable. A timely cold snap, even just a few days before Christmas, could change everything. That's why meteorologists will be watching the charts closely, looking for any sign of a last-minute shift. For now, a white Christmas remains possible but not probable. Yet as always, there's just enough uncertainty to keep the dream alive. So keep your eyes on the skies and your fingers crossed for a festive flurry. January 2026 could bring a shift to drier, calmer weather as high pressure settles over Western Europe and the UK. This setup blocks wet, windy Atlantic systems, meaning fewer storms and less rain. Expect more settled days, but not necessarily sunny ones. High pressure can trap moisture, leading to gray, overcast skies and anticyclonic gloom. Frost and fog will be common, with sharp frosts at night and stubborn fog patches, sometimes lasting all day. Freezing fog could create hazardous icy conditions on roads and pavements. Travel may be tricky, so allow extra time and take care in the mornings. Temperatures will be around average, but it may feel colder due to the lack of sunshine. Occasional weather fronts could bring brief rain, but the main theme is cold, calm, and dry. January's biggest hazards: ice and poor visibility, not storms. February 2026 looks set for another big change as high pressure retreats and the Atlantic storms return. Low pressure near Greenland and Iceland will drive a strong westerly or southwesterly airflow across the UK. Expect wind and rain, with the jet stream steering a series of low pressure systems our way. Heavy rain and strong winds are likely, especially in the north and west, with the risk of gales. Temperatures will be around or slightly above average, so persistent bitter cold is unlikely. Snow will mostly be confined to Scottish high ground and the Pennines during brief cold spells. Elsewhere, it's mainly rain. The mild, wet and windy conditions will contrast sharply with January's cold and calm. February will be a classic stormy winter month. Keep waterproofs and wellies handy. It's a reminder of how quickly UK weather can swing from one extreme to another. March 2026 will likely see the Atlantic's influence continue, with low pressure to the north and high pressure to the south. This means a westerly or northwesterly wind, keeping things unsettled. Don't expect a sudden warm, sunny start to spring. March brings a mix of rain, showers, and brighter spells, with temperatures near average. Northwesterly winds can bring a chill and even wintry showers, especially early in the month. Snow is possible, particularly in Scottish mountains, and sometimes at lower levels, but it usually melts quickly. March is a month of transition, with winter and spring battling for control. As the month progresses, high pressure may bring more frequent dry, warmer spells. For now, keep your coat and umbrella close. Long-range forecasts are fascinating, but they're not set in stone. Weather prediction is complex, like guessing where a leaf will land in the wind. The atmosphere is chaotic and small changes can have big, unpredictable effects weeks later. Supercomputers run models like ECMWF and CFS, but even they can disagree, as we saw with November's outlook. That's why forecasters talk about trends and probabilities, not certainties. Long-range forecasts paint a broad picture, like stormy in February, but can't predict exact days for rain or snow. Use these forecasts as a general guide, not a guarantee. They help us prepare for possible changes, but details get clearer closer to the time. Always check your local, short-term forecast for the most reliable info. The long-range outlook is a glimpse into the future, best taken with a pinch of salt. Knowing what's ahead helps us prepare for winter's challenges. With a mix of mild spells, cold snaps, dry periods and storms, being ready for anything is key. Check your home's heating and seal up drafts before the cold hits. Prepare your car, check tires, antifreeze, battery, and keep a winter kit, blanket, torch, snacks, and de-icer on hand. Make sure your fog lights work, especially if January's foggy forecast comes true. Dress in layers with waterproof and windproof outerwear, plus hat, scarf, and gloves. Look out for elderly or vulnerable neighbors, offer help, or just a friendly chat. A few simple steps can make winter safer and more comfortable for everyone. With preparation, we can enjoy everything winter brings, from frosty mornings to cozy nights in.